Again, from the book of Mark, Mark 9:14-29, from the New King James Version, I'm reading God's holy and precious word. When he came to the disciples, he saw a great multitude around them and scribes disputing with them. Immediately when they saw him, all the people were greatly amazed and running to him, greeting him. And he asked the scribe, "What are you discussing with them?" Then one of the crowd answered and said, "Teacher, I brought you my son, who has a mute spirit. Whenever he seizes him, he throws him down and foams at his mouth, gnashes his teeth, and becomes rigid. So I spoke to your disciples that they should cast it out, but they could not." He answered him and said, "O faithless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? Bring him to me." Then they brought him to him. And when he saw him, immediately the spirit convulsed him, and he fell on the ground and water foaming at the mouth. So he asked his father, "How long has this been happening to him?" And he said, "From childhood. And often he has thrown himself both into the fire and into the water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us." Jesus said to him, "If you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes." Believe is the Father. The father of the child cried out and said with tears, "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief." When Jesus saw that the people came running together, he rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to it, "Rather deaf and dumb spirit, I command you, come out of him and enter him no more." Then the spirit cried out, convulsed him greatly, and came out of him. And he came as one dead, so that many said, "He is dead." But Jesus took him by the hand, lifted him up, and he arose. When he had come into the house, his disciples asked him privately, "Why could we not cast it out?" And he said to them, "This kind can only come out by nothing but prayer and fasting." The word of God. Pray with me, O Lord, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of all of our hearts be acceptable only in your sight. Lord, our strength and redeemer. People of God say amen. 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 I want to be quick this morning. I just want to talk on the theme or the title today. You are the Father. You are the Father. You are the Father. You are the Father. That is a phrase made famous by the great theologian Maury Povich. Really does is now infamous paternity test. The show, of course, hyped for television, usually pits a woman and a man at odds over whether or not the man is the father of the child. Typical show consists of a mother telling the world why the man is the father, and the man telling the world why he's not the father. You know, they always have these private interviews, and they always have the camera on the mother, and the mother always doing this and doing all that, and rolling the neck, and rolling the eyes. And then the man, you know, he always, hey, my baby, you know, it's a tried and true method. They throw in some good punchline for cameras, and when they finally meet together on stage, that's when the real fireworks begin. You know that's your baby. You know you're a hoochie. You ain't not the one you been sleeping around. Yes, you are. And so on. But this is the context in which we live. Women and men fighting over babies. Whose baby is it? Right? You know. And we also see something else on Marty's show. Typically, we see poor people. You know, some will call lower class folk. Some may even say ghetto folk. You know, and if we're not careful, we tend to situate baby daddy phenomenon within the ghetto. But the problem with baby daddy phenomenon is that while we try to regulate it to the hood, baby daddy phenomenon rarely stays in the hood. And there's a whole lot of baby daddy living in nice homes, upper middle class, even some high class, but they still so-called baby daddies. So while we are trying to beat up the poor and marginalized for going out and sleeping around, let us remember remember that baby daddies do not only live in the hood, and the question can still go forth in middle class enclaves all around the country, who your baby daddy is. Ooh, but as we gather on this Father's Day, I just want to lift up today single or non-custodial fathers. You know, those guys. Those guys. I want to talk about them today. Because despite all of the charges against them, in spite of the statistics that are against them, in spite of the problems with baby mama drama, in spite of expectations and realizations hardly ever being the same, there are still fathers out there that's trying to be more than just a baby daddy, because they realize that they are still called to be father to their children. And if you want a good model to look at, look no further than the father in our text this morning. I know this text has been preached as a healing text. We see that after the disciples could not heal the boy, Jesus commands the man to bring the boy to me. And he brings the boy to Jesus, and the spirit that caused the little boy not to speak or hear is to cast out, and the little boy is healed. And that's a good place to shout. That's a great place to shout, because earlier in the text, they were a bunch of they could nots. But when the man brought the child to Jesus, oh, that's a good place to shout. I don't want to go down that road today. We'll say that for another Sunday. I want to focus on the little boy's father. I want to see what we could glean from him and his situation that would help us to become more than just a baby daddy. First, we have a man with a child, and no woman is mentioned in the text. Now, this may not be significant to you, but in first century Palestine, where there were children, usually there were some women present. In other words, in a patriarchal society, men expected women to take care of the children, but what we have in the text is a man taking care of this sick child with no woman being present. In other words, I would like to say that this was a single father trying to raise his son. But that's not all. In addition, we do not know who the man was. We don't know his name, where he come from, who the mother of the child is. We don't know anything about this man, and that's unusual as well. Because again, at least the editors of the text kept alive the men's names while not recording the women's names. But in the text, we don't have a name. The man was anonymous. Potentially could have been a baby daddy. So it is with many single fathers today. All stacks against them. With all the public opinion stacked against them. With some women playing power games with children saying that the father cannot see them. Even with child support putting a strain on their budget, there are still men out here that are stepping up and being fathers. In the face of all of that mess, there are men still doing what they are supposed to do. There are men who are holding down a job and going back to school. There are men who get up early each morning and go out and need and take care of what needs to be taken care of. There are fathers who are going to church trying to strengthen their relationship with the Lord. And there are fathers who have been put up with baby mama drama, women who are married because they now realize that they don't have the best thing that could have ever had, and now that best thing is making somebody else happy. Everything was fine. And even though you were not with your baby mother, you had a relationship, you could talk. Both parties understood each other, and taking care of your child was paramount concern. But oh, when you met somebody else, when she got in, you were serious about somebody else. All heck broke loose. You were called names, you were cursed out. She kept calling and trying to put demands on your time and on your money. Now your new girlfriend is being called and cursed out, saying stuff like, I want that hoochie with my child. It's then that you notice how it becomes my child when she's mad, but your child when she needs something. Oh, your child. Oh, I know I'm in the house. Your child some diapers. Your child needs some money. Your child needs some. Your child needs some clothes. Your child. Don't you have no hoochie with my child? Oh, but you taking a stride. You don't give a charge. You stay on the grind taking care of your business. But we can't tell from the media. All the time we hear about deadbeat dads, high sports figures, and great women and behind on their child support. We can't tell from some women either, who seem to find every no good man and end up falling for that person. Seems like they had a radar on their heads. They just attract no good reprobates. I never understood that. Because if you're constantly meeting dogs, and believe me, I know you're out there, then maybe you want to start checking yourself. I just came to tell somebody that there are single fathers who are holding it down, keeping up with their responsibilities. I see them bringing their children to summer camp. I see them volunteering and helping us out with the children. I see them in the park teaching their kids how to catch and throw a ball. I see them coaching and assisting with little league teams. I see them at grocery stores shopping. And no, it's not the first of the month. Stop it. They going on their own. Many times these men go unknown, unannounced, unnamed, unrecognized. But they do what they do because they are more than just a baby daddy. Not only is this man a single father with a sick child, I want to also say that he's looking for help. In other words, this unknown, unnamed man who was trying to be a single father wasn't afraid to ask for help in his hour of need. He went looking for Jesus because the son had a spirit that made him sick. We just can't overlook that because he did something that many men and fathers still are afraid to do. He asked for help. This man knew he had some responsibility. He knew that he was expected to provide for his son. He knew that he had to think about more than himself. He knew that folk were wondering if he was going to make it or not. But he also knew something else. He knew that the world has a way to throw some curveballs at you every now and then. He knew every day wasn't going to be peaceful and peachy, even if he did all the right things. He knew that bill collectors still want to get paid, even if you're not getting paid. He knew baby mama drama could come out of nowhere. He knew that children can get sick and they can worry you so much. But he also knew another thing. He knew how to call out for help. Maybe the biggest problem we did have, especially if we are fathers, is that we don't reach out for help. We get macho and prideful, always trying to be tough. A lot of people in jail today because they were tough. A lot of men walking the streets today because they were tough. A lot of men hooked on drugs and other stuff because they were tough. A lot of dead men. Ones who died too early, whose last words were, "I'm not scared because I'm tough." Because the truth behind the facade is that we are scared. And we hurt too. But many times we feel like we have no outlet. We feel like we can't tell anyone about our feelings or insecurities. So we don't get the help we need. And we die slow death inside because men are supposed to cry. Men are supposed to worry. Men don't supposed to be vulnerable and to be afraid. Men don't supposed to open up and share with their wives and significant others all the crap that they have to put up with. So that's why here at G-Life we try to get our young men to speak up. And to speak out, we try to give them an outlet, a place to cry if they have to. Listen, if tribe. Need a place where you can own up to your own feelings. A place where you can ask for help. This is what the man did because he wanted to be more than just baby daddy. He wanted to go deeper than that. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Oh, but the third thing I see here is that the man not only asked for help, but he also asked for help from a man he knew, Jesus. Now, we don't know whatever degree that the man knew Jesus, but we know that he knew enough. That being a single father with a sick child and the problems that he had to face, he knew enough to find Jesus. Even in the struggle with faith and unbelief, he still believed enough to ask for help in his unbelief. In other words, I know you can do this, Jesus. Just help me believe. I know that you can heal my child. Just help me to believe. I don't know about you, but I hear single fathers saying the same thing. I know you can help me with my issues and problems, but just help me believe. I know that you can help me with baby mama drama, but just help me believe. I know you can get this woman to understand what I'm going through. Just help me believe. I know that you can help me raise my child. Just help me believe. I know you can help me find the job that I'm looking for. Just help me to believe. I know that you can send me to the right person and just help me to believe. I know that you can help me get back on my feet. Just help me to believe. Lord, every now and then I just need some help believing what I know that you can do, because I just don't want to be baby daddy. I want to be a father to my child. I want to be a father to my children. So I just came to encourage single fathers who are stepping up and doing what they're supposed to do. Keep on doing what you're doing and keep on keeping on. I know it gets hard sometimes, but keep on keeping on. I know you feel like throwing in the towel every now and then, but keep on keeping on. I know that the relationship with your child's mother is strained, but keep on keeping on. I know you're paying for some stuff you did 10, 15, and 20 years ago, but keep on keeping on. I know it's hard to explain yourself, but keep on keeping on. I know it's hard to make ends meet, but keep on keeping on. I know that the odds seem stacked against you, but keep on keeping on. Oh, I came with a word this morning for all single fathers and everybody in here. All things can be done for the one that believes. Do you believe this morning? Just believe you can make it. Just believe you can take it. Just believe you can soar to new heights. I know sometimes it doesn't look like things will work out, but just believe. Just believe that your past is not an indicator of where you're trying to go. Just believe that God will make a way somehow. Just believe. You too can become more than just a baby.